and welcome to LexTalk World Talk Show presented by Clickaway Creators. Today we have Ms. Kritika Seth, who is a lawyer with her primary areas of expertise being IP, that's intellectual property, media, and entertainment laws. She has a distinctive understanding of the legal and commercial business of the industry. Within a brief period of over 8 years, she has managed to stand out in both contracting as well as litigation. She's known to regularly advise in various and actually represent various entertainment industry people. Now, her key role with her clientele is of advising, structuring, and negotiating deals across all domestic and international production houses and platforms. She's currently involved in various projects related to IP rights management, documentation, and negotiation for the acquisition of content. Miss Sid believes in forever encouraging new possibilities and never runs away from the role of finding a unique solution to every situation. Keeping in view the boundaries of law, finding something different to work on is one of her expertise. Hello, Kritika. How are you?
Hi, lovely. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you for asking. So, Kritika, it's a pleasure that you're here, and please brief us. We're really excited to know about your journey as a legal professional so far.
So, honestly, the pleasure is all mine. I'm so glad to be a part of this. And my
Perfect.
journey has been quite an exciting one. If I say how I started and how I have come where I am, I think it's been quite an interesting turn of events that have taken place. Um, it started way back when I was in law school, and I wasn't too sure really that I wanted to be a part of IP or I wanted to do something completely different. But I was sure that I wanted to get into litigation because that was my thing. And while I was working, and because I was interning throughout my college, my whole idea was to get as much exposure as I could get on the practical aspect of law because it interests me so much and I was very passionate about the subject. And eventually, I started working in IP and I came across the media laws and I saw the kind of scope it had. And I think the interest just kept growing. And knowing the fact that I come from a creative field myself, in the sense I do enjoy writing, I am a lot into singing. And at some point, I used to be a part of everything, I guess, back in school. So I guess that just brought in that element and it just connected. Everything just fit so beautifully that I just knew that this is the area that I wanted to specialize in, and things just kept getting better and better on their own. So yes, it's been quite an interesting journey for me.
Well, that was quite a journey. Also, talking about IP and entertainment laws, because a lot of confusion because you did not know what exactly. So, what led you to entertainment and media law specifically?
So one of the key things actually that motivated me to take this forward and get this interest going was the aspect that when I used to be like when I wanted way before I wanted to be a lawyer, I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to be a dancer, and I wanted to be an artist basically. And I used to really enjoy the arts a lot when I was back in school. And at that point of time, I think the way we've like been grown up, we are always taught that either there is a doctor or there is a lawyer, there is nobody like an artist. So I wanted to bring that difference. Like I wanted to be somebody who could really bring out the artists in the market and to be recognized as professionals as well. And I think that's what led me towards the media field so much. And especially after I actually got the exposure back when I was interning with a couple of law firms and I saw the kind of work that goes into it, it even more, it was something that resonated so beautifully with me that I just couldn't get away from it. It was something that just fit. The missing piece was right there, and I just fit in there. And I think that's what led me to keep going, and it never stopped me. And for me to look back and think that, okay, do I want to do something else? It's all connected. I mean, we talk about media laws in a way that they are specifically something completely different, but somewhere they are connected to all the other laws that are present. So I guess that whole interest just kept growing along with the growth of knowledge, and there was so much to learn, and there is still so much growing and learning. So I guess it's that aspect of ever growing and ever learning which kind of even more motivated me to keep going in the field. Plus, of course, I get to spend a lot of time with some of the most amazing artists all across. And it's amazing because it's like a dream come true to be working with such great people and learning so much from them. So it's like I get to be a part of my creative world as well as my legal world. So yes, that's what it is.
There's one question that I really would want to ask you, but after the interview about the celebrities. So let's just not go off track right now. So having worked as in-house counsel as well as a partner in a leading law firm, could you share the highlights and the key differences between your experience? I mean, what in your view should be the deciding factor for an aspiring lawyer that needs to make a choice between the two?
So it's very interesting how how the two are taken to be like two completely different practice areas, and how one is found to be a certain way and the other the certain way. But I believe it really helped me to begin my journey as a litigation lawyer, and thereafter moving to an in-house work, because I got a lot of perspective of the other side. It's a completely different world when it comes to standing in court, and and being a part of those arguments and being a part of that entire community there, and it's a completely different perspective. And when we are in-house, the entire approach to the entire transaction is completely different. So I believe those are two very important and different roles to play. Yet I think each kind of plays a very important factor on an overall growth of a lawyer. And in my personal experience, I believe that though I started my journey as a litigation lawyer and then I moved into an in-house practice, um, what really was interesting for me is that each aspect that I have learned during my litigation experience, it kind of gave me that edge as an in-house counsel. And thereafter I was actually able to understand the basic demand that an in-house lawyer also has. So if I have to give an advice to you know to the upcoming community, and I know how great the lawyers today are, and the legal fraternity is just growing and getting better each moment, I would just say that it's not about how much it's about what all you can cater at the moment wherever you are. It doesn't really matter whether you started with the litigation law or you started with an in-house. It's actually the experience which really counts, and the learning that you have been carrying from both these experiences as a lawyer, that is going to make a difference for you. So I think it's important to kind of balance what you learn on one end and how you implement it on the other end, because implementation, I think, is where there is this little difference, but otherwise the law remains law, and we're all going to be following it, so at some point. So yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm sure that the answer that you have given would be helpful, to a lot of people who are going to watch the interview. So, how difficult do you think is starting one's own law firm in India? And do you think that it is the perfect time to do so?
Wow. So interestingly, I I kind of had that entire thing planned. So I've been like one of those people who kind of plans her life in a certain way, and of course life goes the way it has to go. But I would also be very like I mean I'm very humble about it to say that a lot of things kind of have been a blessing for me, and it's a great pleasure to be a part of a life wherein you dream of something and at some point it comes true. It doesn't matter when it is, and whenever it is going to be challenging, so there's no doubts about that. So honestly, yes, it is a challenge to be a part, or to to create an organization like this, or to be starting something so young, I guess, because you come with a very limited experience and exposure, and in general parlance, that's what's looked at, that how much experience a lawyer has. But I believe that there are the times are really changing, and people are now recognizing the real talent, and they're looking into how good the person is and how good the work is really. And I think that's what really counts, end of the day, how dedicated we are to our jobs. It doesn't matter how much exposure and experience we carry, because eventually it's about how much hard work we are ready to put in. So definitely it is a challenge, and considering we started We came out with our law firm in January 2020, and the lockdown popped in right after 2 months. So yes, there was a lot of challenge in trying to set up the team and to bring everything in perspective. But having said that, I think end of the day, all the hard work and all the support from the clients that we had was actually a great blessing for us. And it just moved so smoothly that we don't even know how the 2020 passed on. So I guess it's about being ready to accept the fact that there is a lot of hard work even in making your dreams come true. And yeah, but at the same time, I believe dreams do come true. So yes, it's one of those things.
Well, that got a bit intense. And let me just come to the fun part. Please tell us about your most memorable case and what are key takeaways from there.
Wow. Okay, so for me, it's been quite an interesting journey because I believe everything that I have worked on at some point of time has been like a learning experience for me, because it's always been something new and different in some aspect. And putting out particularly a particular case where I would say that yes, that was something absolutely extraordinary that I did. I mean, there have been so many, but at the same time, I think I'm going to just talk about one of my experiences wherein this is going to be like the most interesting experience. And it was my first appearance basically, and why I want to mention this is because it really made a lot of difference to who I am today. I was right after like law school, and just running around, the basics that we all do in our first year of practice, with the seniors, everything. And at that point of time, I got the chance and the opportunity to be appearing in a case which was, of course, for great. It was my first matter that I had prepared in my law firm at that point of time, and I had briefed seniors for it, and there were lots of lawyers around. But at that present moment when our matter was actually called out, it so happened that there was nobody around. And so we seek adjournment every time something like this happens. We wait for the senior to come up. So, and I did that once, and I did that the second time, and the third time the judges were like, no, not nothing doing, you start the matter. And that was my first time when I was like put in that spot. And then I was just like, "Ooh, okay." And I had a senior, of course, on the other side as well. And it was
I'm,
definitely,
I'm really sorry to slice the conversation. I'm so nervous for you right now. I just hope it ends good.
well, fortunately, I think that was the
Very
best
good.
moment in my life because I loved the fact that both the judges were so considerate about the fact that, I mean, they always know when there is someone new, right? So they were absolutely compassionate about the fact that, okay, this girl is new, let her go. And at the same time, I don't know how and what triggered it, but at some point I just felt that I owned that space, and I was there, and this is my case and nothing doing. And there was a different version of me which came out. But I think that's what made a lot of difference in my approach to practice. And that changed me forever because that gave me so much confidence. And I think that was the day, and today is the day. I'm never scared of an argument. I'm ever ready.
I Yeah, well, yes. From a lawyer's perspective, they're never scared of an argument, but being women, we are actually never scared of an argument.
Absolutely. Added advantage.
Yes. So, one more thing, you were actually telling me that what exactly happened. You were asked to start. So,
Yes.
then what happened?
So I started, and I started my argument. Now I was hoping that okay, probably like I said a few words, and then I was hoping that maybe my senior is going to come in and something's going to happen. But now the judges were getting very impatient, and at the same time the clients were in the courtroom. So it was a situation where it was something that I had to take on, and I just started. What was really surprising was towards the end of that, I mean, I almost got over with the argument. That's when my senior walked in, and I was moving on the side, and my senior said, "No, it's okay, you continue." And I mean, of course, it's just how beautiful it is to work with such seniors as well. And the judges let me continue, and eventually there was a certain clarification for which, of course, the senior was then asked, and the senior gave that clarification, and eventually we got the order in our favor. But like I said, it was in that moment because I was there, and I started and I was so confident. See, one of the reasons I believe that as lawyers, we gain that confidence because we know what we have done. We know what the text is. So when we know the text and we're confident about what we are saying, I think automatically, everything comes like easy to us. And in that moment, it's like, it is actually like, a drama scene where we are all dramatic about the fact that this is the truth and this is how it is, etc., etc. So I think that part of me popped in, and I was so like I was completely in a rush. Of course, when I came out, I was shaking. Like I didn't know what happened, but I had a lot of people who walked out of the courtroom and they said, good job. And I think that's the kind of encouragement which really pushes us young lawyers, especially, to grow and to take more initiative and keep trying and at some point get somewhere. So I think, like I say, I always say this, we as lawyers are a little community, and we all take care of each other. We all are fighting with each other. It's just like a small family. So
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting, and that's what kind of changed a lot for me. That was my day when I was able to access that part of me, which was so confident and sure of what she was doing, and I just knew that I'm at the right place now, and I'm never changing this. So yeah.
Thank you so much for answering that question, Kritika. First thing, I have been talking to the legal industry experts for a long time now, and you have shown me a completely different picture. And second is, thank God that it looks like a movie because
Yeah.
like it is a drama scene. Thank God, because in our head, like as we don't know what happens in the court. Touch wood.
Yes.
Don't know what happens in the court like in real, but we have always thought about it that it should be like, I'll not name the movies, but it should be like that. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for answering that question, and now I know that I've not been living under a rock. And my last question to you would be, how do you look at media and entertainment laws in 2020, and how do you think it's going to change maybe 5 years down the line?
So I think 2020 kind of changed a lot within the industry as well, because I think the digital space kind of picked up so much, the kind of exposure and the kind of content creation that has taken place has actually made a lot of significance. I see the industry really growing. At the same time, there is, of course, there are new avenues, there are new technologies, there's so much happening. And I think at some point of time, I do see media being one of the top. Like, I still feel that it is one of the biggest industries, and it is something that is not so keenly like legally looked upon. But I think it has great scope, and it is one of the best. It's one of the niche areas that I would say that one can work with, and there's so much to learn. And what's interesting is that every aspect of law, so whether it is technology or whether it is data protection, you put it all together when it comes to media, because it's like, if there is a production house, the production house is pretty much dealing in every single thing. So it's a different, completely different ball game. And I think 2020 really changed the scenario, because of the lockdown. There was a lot of issues, and there were a lot of hits that were taken when it comes to the content, not being put out the way it was usually put out. But that also led to avenues wherein, the reputation and the recognition of artists also completely changed, because when the artist comes on the digital screen, it's a completely different, appreciation and a different crowd turner. So I think it's been a crazy ride, and I think it's going just higher and higher. Of course, there are changes, and there will always be changes because the law keeps changing, and that's the interesting part and the adventure of it all. But I guess it's all going towards something great, and I think we're going to see some great, great stuff coming up soon.
So, on the last note, yes, change is the only constant. And thank you so much, Kritika, for answering all the questions so beautifully, and explaining to all the layman's, even like, I'm sure that not only lawyers or people from legal industry, but everybody would love this conversation. So thank you so much for sharing such great insights with us. We really look forward to having a chat with you again, maybe in some other trending topics in the international legal industry, of course. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Kritika, please like and share this video and also subscribe to Clickaway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do. And you have more coming from the industry leaders. This is Bharti for LexTalk signing off. Take care. Bye bye.